Welcome to Impact. I'm your host, Pamela Anchang. Today I have a very special guest with me, the First Lady of Sierra Leone, Mrs. Fatima Maada Bio. She's here in Los Angeles to present the case against early child marriage in Sierra Leone and Africa, a growing crisis that is handing over young girls in marriage to predators in the name of love and marriage. It's time for justice for these girls, and we welcome her leadership. Welcome to Los Angeles, First Lady of Sierra Leone. So happy to have you on Impact, our show. So glad to have you on this show.
Thank you.
You look mighty lovely this evening. I know you've had a long day, but I can't help but notice this beautiful dress. Is this made in
Sierra Leone? Yes, made in Sierra Leone.
Wow, this just tells us how much our people are growing, and Sierra Leone seems to be thriving, really. So I'm really curious to know a little more about you. I want you to tell me a little more because we're going to go into some really deep conversation about what brings you here. But first of all, I want the audience to get to know you. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, my name is Fatima Maada Bio. Before Fatima Maada Bio, people know me as Fatima Jabi. That's my acting name, and that's the name when you actually want to see the things that I have done as an actress. You Google Fatima Jabi. But I'm married now to, of course, Julius Maada Bio, who is the President of Sierra Leone. So, as marriage is custom that you take your husband's name, and now called Fatima Maada Bio.
You know, I love that because most of us women, our friends always remember us by our maiden name. But then when you have that married name, you always need to make that specification. But yours is even more interesting because you have your acting name. So tell me a little bit about your husband's ascension to power and, what his mission is and your role in this position.
Julius, basically, he was a president before about 22 years ago or 23 years ago. Wow. I didn't know who he was then. I had his name that Sierra Leone had a president called Julius Maada Bio. Well, I wasn't there. I was in England, so I have no clue who this Julius Maada Bio is. And fast forward, 2011, 2012, he came to the UK. Then he had won the flagship to run for the presidency in 2012 election. And he came to the UK, and a friend of ours, contacted me. I was working for few TV companies in London, and then he said, "Oh, can you interview our flag bearer?" And then I didn't even have a clue what a flag bearer is. Said, "Oh, our presidential candidate. We want him to know that we have Sierra Leoneans in England that are in places." I said, "Well, it's a difficult thing because you're asking me to do something that I have no clue about, and Google him and see." I said, "I haven't got the time to Google anybody. If you want me to help you guys, I can help you, but don't give me an extra job by Googling somebody. That's not my job, not doing it."
Right.
But then he came down to London, we met a charitable function, and we become friends. At this point, he was going into a very difficult election, because an election that you're fighting with the incumbent in Africa.
In Africa, for that matter.
That's an impossible task,
Absolutely.
So I basically was the person at the side that he would consult for thing, and this guy has just met me within 2-3 months. He was going into election, and he called me and say, "What do you think? What do you think? What do you think?" Before him, I was married to a footballer, so that was a crazy world, from being a footballer's wife that you're all over the place.
Entertainment and all of that.
And football goes together.
Absolutely.
But entertainment and politics, they don't even look alike.
Especially in Africa.
Of course. So, we talk about our past, and I had 2 kids, and I'm proud of my children. And he saw how much I'm dedicated to my kids and how much I love my children. Before he actually went into the presidential election proper now, the month, he said, "I've stopped looking." I'm like, I don't know what that means, that you stop looking, because nobody's asking whether you've changed your glasses. But he said he has stopped looking, and he would want to be with me. I said, "Well, I've heard you, but you have a job, go sort that out first." So he went into the election. It didn't come the way he wanted it to be. And after the election, we start talking again, and he asked if he could marry me. And I don't know whether at that point I was actually...
Did you say yes?
I was actually crazy about him and he didn't know.
Oh! Like, okay.
So when he said married, and I'm thinking,
Well,
did he just say that?
just
That. So he came back to London and then we got married. Even to the point where we were going to get married, I thought, okay, maybe I'll wake up in the morning and I was dreaming.
Pinch yourself.
It's not true. Because he was just that sincere person.
Yes.
Every woman looking for somebody that is just straight and direct and he will just tell you as it is. And he was in that zone for me, and he was older than me. And I thought, okay, I'm coming from a relationship that my ex were of the same age group. He was only older than me for 6 months. So there was this challenge of, two celebrities in a household. That
power struggle.
Yes, of course, and it get to a point where I wasn't feeling him.
I know.
So we went our separate ways. But then when Julius came, and I don't know whether women, we tend to be more comfortable with somebody that, you just, because of the age difference in the relationship, I tend to listen more.
Yes.
Wanted to learn more, knowing full well that he will know more than what I know.
Right.
So it was a process of learning from him fast and growing up so fast.
Yes.
Catching up with the world, because for me, I'm saying, well, he has done everything that he needed to do. I can learn from this person.
Absolutely.
We're not from the same world, so there will be no clash in what we do. He will be his own person, I will be my own person. I mean,
so would you say you found your soulmate, in other words?
Of course, yes.
Yes.
It was just, it's not something that I was praying for, but when it happens, hey.
That's awesome. That's a beautiful story. And I don't know how you made the transition, but I guess when two people that have a similar journey and vision in life, when they meet, miracles, awesome things can happen. And I'm going to take us now to why you're here in Los Angeles, what brings you here, because obviously you're not just being a first lady and coming from entertainment, from being an actress, and to where you are, I can see that you're a woman of vision. So please tell me a little bit about why you're here in Los Angeles. I've left your prince, and you're here in Los Angeles.
Well, I came down because I was invited by Cushy Mills for me to attend the Diaspora Award, which I was nominated for, and I got the Warrior Award, I think, because of the work I do in terms of promoting women's issue in Africa.
Yes.
Being a first lady, it's like when I was an actress, I have been somebody who has been talking about women's issue, but in different platforms.
Yes.
As an actress, everybody know, even the movies that I do, if you research the things that I've done, it's more about gender, it's about battered women, it's about drug abuse for women, anything that is educative, anything that will tell a woman, this part is not for us, we go this way. At first, it's the glamour of being in the industry.
Yes.
You wanted to be there, you want to do your own thing, so anything they throw at you, you will do it. But then gradually, I started to pick the story that I want to be involved in.
You decided to focus on women's
issues. Yes, so any story that is not educative, any story that will not take me to the next level or is not challenge enough.
Yes.
I don't just do it because of the money. No, I don't do random films. So I become the actress that, you don't sit for the year and count how many hundreds of films I have done.
You look at the substance.
The substance of the films that I do, and then I've been blessed with every movie I have done. When I was part of Nollywood, has been nominated one way or the other for different awards. And I was blessed to win an African Best Actress 3 times in a year, in a row. So when you win African Best Actress once, and then twice, and then 3 times, what else is there to do?
Yes. So now you're about...
So I was just focusing on how to give back to society.
Absolutely.
Now I have a bigger platform. The bigger platform is 7 million people who look up to me, to everything I do, everything I say.
Yes.
So I felt there is a problem in Africa.
Absolutely.
An issue that we need to talk about, something that a lot of people, if they have the opportunity to talk about it, will make a difference,
Yes.
which is early marriage.
Early marriage.
Early marriage is a subject that is affecting the whole of Africa. Early marriage is making sure a girl get married when they are not ready mentally,
Yeah.
when their body is not ready physically. That's early marriage. In Africa, you get parents, they will give their kids out to marriage at the age of 13, 14. I think that's ridiculous because you're sending off a child to go and do an adult job.
Honestly.
You're taking a child. It's like you're setting up your children for death. It's death trap for
It's a
kids.
death trap for girls.
We keep talking about infant and child mortality. When you go to the hospital and check the rate of kids that are dying, when you talk about the infant and child mortality, majority of the people who died in these hospitals are those kids whose bodies are not ready for childbirth, and you expect them to carry a baby for 9 months, and then you expect them to go and do, wonders in a hospital, something that even an adult can't do.
Absolutely.
Not talking of a child.
A child.
And we have issues of fistula.
Yes.
Because of that. Because when your body is not ready, there's fistula, there's the infant and child mortality rate, it's growing, and we are talking, the population in Africa is the youngest population in the world. Okay, but then, if every young girl is shipped off in marriage at the age of 14, 15, and 60% of those young girls end up dying just because of child marriage and early pregnancy, what are we celebrating?
You know what is so sad about what you're saying is because when you talk about infant mortality in the West, you'll be talking about diseases, illness, but now we're talking about children dying as a result of marriage and getting involved in adult situations. And I bet you that we don't have the infrastructure to even handle when there are medical issues that arise.
Of course not.
How prevalent is this? Is it just something that Sierra Leone in particular is facing, and is your work focused on Sierra Leone alone, or is it something that's prevalent all across Africa? It
is prevalent all across Africa.
Okay.
But I have to focus on Sierra Leone because
Absolutely.
that is why I'm mandated to talk
Yes.
for. So I focus on Sierra Leone, but I know this is an issue that affects the whole of Africa.
Yes.
My tribe, I'm a Mandinka woman. From the tribe I come from, they are prone in things like this. At a very early age, from the age of 11, 12, you know who your husband is supposed to be. So you start to behave as an adult. When that man is around, you behave yourself, just because he's supposed to be your husband. And this is someone you looked up to as your uncle, your uncle, your father's friend, and all of that. And then all of a sudden, this person is going to be your husband. So the man that you thought is your uncle, the man that is supposed to be your dad, is now going to be, your husband. It's going to be the one that will abuse you at night and then wake up in the morning. When you give out a child to be married off to an elderly man, what is it that you expect that child to give to that marriage?
Absolutely. So let me ask you, First Lady, what do you think are the circumstances surrounding these early marriages? Why would a parent send their child into early marriage? Because I've wondered, is it religion? Is it culture, tradition? What is it that makes a mother send a child? Because I know when it goes from generation to generation, becomes something that we just do. What in your research has been the reasons for this to exist?
I think it's lack of education.
Okay.
I think it's lack of knowledge, knowing the consequences. Because I keep saying to my mother, what works for you 50 years ago doesn't mean it will work for me now.
No.
Or it will work for my children.
Absolutely
50 years ago, or when they were doing all of those things, there was nothing called HIV/AIDS.
No.
The rate of fistula, the kind of sicknesses that we have in the world today, you don't have that. But then if you have one man, today they're married to a 16-year-old girl, and then after 2 years,
absolutely,
that marriage doesn't work. What they do, they return the girl back to their family, and then they go and look for the next victim. And then you keep giving them the freedom to do it in the name of marriage. When do you question them? Why would you marry the kid at the age of 16, and then when that marriage didn't work, that child go back to their family with absolutely nothing? Nothing. And their childhood has been stolen away from them. And now they go back home, they have nothing to fall back to, and they have nothing to show for the wedding. They have nothing they can prove except to say, I've been sleeping with that man. Yes. Or maybe they have a child. And now they have a child that is a burden to them. Yes. They can't look after themselves, they can't look after the child. Both of them now become a burden to their mother. And that burden now become, you know, a serious issue in the home. If everybody is educated, yes. If you know you are enlightened and you know what you're doing is wrong for yourself, it will help. Because they're making this thing like early marriage now in Africa. It's like buying lipstick. Today you wear red, tomorrow you wear pink. It's like it's okay to do it.
It's really atrocious, but I'm wondering about the mothers in this situation. If I went through something so atrocious, why would I want my daughter? And that's something I've always pondered about, because the men are taking these women as their wives. Where are the mothers? Where are we, the women? And what is your project as far as educating the community about this issue?
The mothers are there. Like I said to you, for them, they have gone through it and it worked for them. But 50, 60 years ago, the issues that we have to deal with, the stress of marriage, the sexual transmitted diseases that are around, we don't have them when
maybe we did, and they just weren't diagnosed.
They
right?
don't know them.
Absolutely.
Okay. But now we all know about these things.
Yes, we are aware.
We're talking about HIV/AIDS. We want to stop HIV/AIDS. You're talking about fistula. We're talking about all these other sicknesses, the STDs, all of them. And if you have one man today, you know, sleeping with this girl, yes. When it didn't work, return this girl and then pick another one. What are you transferring to these kids? Only God knows. They go back home. Because they are children, they are not able to even look after themselves. Why are we putting our children through this? I'm saying we will go back to the communities. Yes. We have to educate the paramount chiefs. They are the custodians of those communities. Yes. We have to educate the mothers. We have to make them understand why it is more important for them to send their girl child to school.
Yes.
And now they don't have any excuse because the president has given free education for all.
Absolutely.
So you don't have an excuse to say, this is the reason why I'm going to send off my girl for marriage while the brother go to school. Now all of them can go to school. They have their books given to them freely. They have food given to them freely. All of that has been put in place for them now. It's yes. for them to embrace it. But for them to embrace it, we have to make the campaign bigger. We yes. have to ask for bigger voices because it is not just a Sierra Leonean issue. This is an African issue.
African issue.
We need to come together. We need to have Black African Americans. Nobody is going to come and help us. No one.
We have to help ourselves.
Nobody is going to come.
On that note, I know you have an initiative which you call the Hands Off Our Girls.
Yes.
Is this all packaged within that framework? And is this framework working with the government? Because your husband is the head of state, which means he has the authority. How are you guys enforcing the execution and prevention of these situations in Sierra Leone?
Well, the Hands Off Our Girls is a flagship under my office.
Okay.
And when we say Hands Off Our Girls, I mean Hands Off Our Girls, don't marry them off.
Thank you.
Hands off our girls, don't pregnate our girls just by giving them mobile phones. Hands off our girls, don't yes. rape our girls because they're not your property to be abused that way. Hands off our girls, period.
Yes.
Allow them to grow, allow them to go to school, allow them to serve their society, allow them to develop themselves, allow them to be enlightened, yes. allow them to free themselves.
Yes.
Because if you continue to ship off all the young girls and get them pregnant or rape them or early marriages, definitely, what are we going to have in 10, 15, 20 years? Women can be prime ministers, women can be ministers, women can be presidents. But the thing is, they're limiting us. They're making sure we don't grow from where they want us. This is like the new kind of slavery. Yes. You know, you're depriving me from achieving my goal, from being this person that I could be and make so much difference in a society, you know, by keeping me behind and, you know, slowing me down the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years that I need to develop myself and empower myself. I'm now going to be using that to look after myself and a child. You know, by the time that child is 7, 8 years, it's too late for me to do anything.
I think what you're doing is kind of like what Americans are now calling a Me Too movement, but yours is beyond that, because hands off our girls, it's going to save so many souls. Because imagine in the West, we're talking about somebody, a man touches you, and he can go to jail. We're talking in Africa about men raping babies, men raping children in the name of marriage. I mean, we're talking about predators. Personally, one of the reasons I left Cameroon was because I just couldn't take it. You couldn't find security, neither with the police commissioner, the magistrate, the judges. The system would not protect our girls. So I'm really happy. So I want to know from you, is this initiative going to be something that will be enforced within the security systems, the national security for girls, within the government? So when your husband is no longer there, we can continue this journey, because we don't want a situation where there's no continuity. So tell me about what you're putting in place to make sure that this is sealed in stone.
That is the plan. Like I said to you, His Excellency the President has actually declared rape in Sierra Leone now as national emergency, and they have taken the law to Parliament for ratification and approval. When that is done in Parliament, no government can come and change it.
Good.
It's not going to happen. His Excellency is not doing this independently. Whatever he wants to do, he will consult with the people. He will make sure the people are with him, and then we take it to Parliament, where they are the law enforcers. They have to make the law. When they vote on it and it is approved, we'll come back to the people and say, well, this is what has happened. But I believe the parliamentarians that we have, I don't think they are that wicked to see the evil that is going on, the rape, and the way the young girls are struggling with children. You know, in Europe, it's better. You can go with prams and, you know, but in Africa, there's nothing called pram. You're going to be carrying your baby on your back.
Absolutely.
You know, and here, when you have a child, maybe the government will give you something.
Give you some subsidies.
Then they will help you with feeding your child. No, you don't have that in Africa.
No formulas, nothing.
So everything you have to do. And that's the reason why when a child becomes pregnant in Africa, it's difficult for them.
Absolutely.
You know, here you get help. In Africa, no. Your whole burden come back to the parents if that man decides to bail out on you. And it's unfair. Because I know no man will want another man to sleep with their child at the age of 14. They will not want that. Why would you want to do it to somebody else's child? The worst thing is, they expect these kids to actually behave like wives to them. They should cook. Some of them don't even know how to boil water.
No.
They should warm water for them in the morning. Like the kids should know that they should have water ready for them in the morning to take a shower. The kids should be able to cook and prepare breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's a child. The kid should be able to know that my husband's wardrobe should be ready. The girl can't even look after herself. How do you expect them to be able to wash your clothes, iron your clothes, cook your meal, clean your house, prepare your bed, and then serve you at night again sexually? How do you expect them to do that when they are only a child?
Now, let me ask you a very important question about the girls and those who are actually current victims right now. What is your Hands Off Our Girls movement initiative going to do to help them in terms of counseling, healing, and all of those things? Because yes, for the future, but what about those right now? Are we going to take them out of those situations?
Well, we have different organizations working.
Okay.
Because I am like advocating. I'm the one going out and make sure their plight is heard. You know, and I'm looking for bigger voices.
Right.
I'm looking for voices around the world that will join hands with me for us to let everybody know it is time to hands off our girls, you know. And these centers, they have them there that also help.
Okay.
But we don't have everything. Like whatever is happening in America or Europe, Rome is not built in a day.
Not in a day. For sure.
Now, if we take this as an agenda, everything that we need to put in place for something like this is going to be there.
Yes. Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
That is why I'm trying for everybody to look into this issue and make it their personal issue. Because when it becomes an agenda, the solution will be easier.
Yes.
When it becomes a one-man crusade, then that's another issue. I'm the first lady now, but for how long am I there for? The day my husband leave, I'm leaving. Absolutely. And when I leave, I don't go with the title.
No, you don't.
So I'm using the platform now to bring this plight to the world, for the world to hear us, for the world to know. So while I am there, you know, all of these other things that we need to put in place. Yes, I'm not saying the HIV/AIDS is not important. I'm not saying all the other issues that the UN are talking about, environment and everything. I'm not saying they're not important. They're all very important.
Yes.
But the human capital is more important.
Yes.
Because the human capital, if you're trying to save the world, you're saving the world for the human.
Yes.
If you don't have the human, so why are you saving the world? When you're talking about pollution, when you're talking about all of these plastics that First Lady should go and campaign for, can we talk about the people themselves?
And I know you're going to United Nations. What do you want to accomplish with that visit? Because, like you said, we have to take care of our own. We need to educate our mothers. We need to educate each other. Our daughters, we need to educate them. So what is your message to the United Nations, and how can the United Nations assist in this crisis, this emergency?
I think they need to actually check their focus also.
Okay.
You know, of course, gender equality is something that they have in their agenda. But is it scream louder? Because when the United Nations wants to make something an agenda, the voice that comes, the people that come with that voice to make sure that agenda is pursued.
Okay. So to hold the country accountable.
You know what I mean?
Accountability.
So,
yes.
You know, they are saying that, you know, gender equality is part of the United Nations agenda.
Yes.
But then, have you actually screamed that agenda loudly? Have you make it a priority and make sure every head of state should understand that that is your priority?
Yes, that's a good.
That is something that I think we're lacking.
Okay.
It is there, but it's still silence. No one is talking about it unless, you know, you just have few people who, okay, it's gender equality, we want 50-50.
Now, what is the meaning of this gender equality and how are they executing it?
Well, that's what I would want to find out. And, you know, and just in case, if they don't understand what is happening in my country,
here to tell them.
I will tell you, hey, listen, in my own country, gender equality is not about what you are telling me.
No.
Gender equality is about making sure my girls go to school and stay in school and be empowered.
Yes.
So that they're not shipped off in any silly marriage that will last for 1 year, 2 years.
Yes.
Because if you're allowing this to continue, when there is no protection for these children, you know, don't talk to me about gender equality.
What do you think some of the outcomes would be from that meeting, maybe in terms of support for Sierra Leone?
Well, I mean, like I said, the most important thing is we talk about it. We continue to talk about it until somebody listens. Not talking about it is a problem.
Yes.
But when we talk about it, and I'm hoping that every other First Lady will have this in their agenda. Every other First Lady will also make this a priority. Everything else is a priority because when it comes to Africa Matter, everything else is a priority. But God help me. Would you want me to be talking about fashion? You know, I champion the wildlife issues in Sierra Leone because I think the animals, they have the right to live. They have the right for protection. But don't the human being also have the same right?
And our children.
That's the whole point. When it comes to the wildlife issues, we have the whole of the UK, the United Kingdom royal family there talking about it. The elephants, the chimpanzees, the pangolins.
Yes.
These are some of animals that people in Africa don't even know them.
Do
you know what I mean? But I am willing to talk about it because I believe every life matters.
Every life matters.
You understand? I'm willing to talk about it. But then it would be nice to have the presidents, the royal families, everybody is talking about this gender equality, especially early marriage and rape.
So we want everybody
to talk about it.
Yes.
So that it becomes an international issue. It's not just an issue for one country because it is an African issue.
It's an African issue.
Unless we are refusing to accept the fact, but every African country is affected by this. So I'm hoping that the way they champion, like when you talk about climate change, my God, everybody want to talk about climate change.
So let's talk about our early child marriage.
Yes.
Let's make that a focus.
Focus. People in Hollywood, that their voices matters. When they come out and say, listen, early marriage is also something that we want to talk about now. We want to address early marriage. We want you to look into early marriage. They know the people in places that can make that can shift the focus to this issue. That is what I'm looking for.
To want to build a movement.
Yes.
And would galvanize a movement. So now let's talk about here in the United States and beyond, the diaspora. I know it's about Sierra Leone, but I look at this like an African issue because every African country right now has this to a greater or lesser extent. But as the First Lady of Sierra Leone, how can the Sierra Leonean diaspora and the African diaspora in general, how can we support this initiative and build this movement?
It's just scream loud. We all have a different platform.
Yes.
Everybody have a platform they can use.
Yes.
If you're a teacher, talk about it in your schools.
Okay.
When we have a movement, you know, 6 years ago, if you call yourself a gay in the United Kingdom, you'll be lynched.
That's true.
60 years ago.
Yes.
But then when they wanted a movement, when they wanted to legalize it, you know what? It happened.
It happened.
And every head of state is telling you gay rights. Everybody. So then why are we not talking about early marriage too? Make it the right of a woman. And when they're talking about gender equality, break it down.
Break it down.
Don't just say gender equality. Gender
sounds
equality.
good.
Yeah, gender equality is not about just a man not slapping a woman.
That's not it.
No.
Every culture has its
Everything. There is every
context.
component into
Absolutely.
it's a bigger word.
Yes.
Gender equality. What is the equality are we looking for?
We're looking for.
That is what they also need to break down.
We're not sending our sons to get married, but we're sending
And
our
you're
daughters.
telling me about gender equality.
equality.
Which one of the gender are you
I don't
trying
know.
to talk about?
I'm not so
So,
sure.
you know, when they want to talk about climate change, it's
Yes.
simple. One word, climate. We all know what
Yes,
is that.
we all
But when
know.
you say gender,
Gender. Which one? Which one? of
gender
the
equality.
So you want the diasporans, you want everybody to get on board and make this,
Anybody who have a
put
platform,
a voice.
anybody in your own little way, there is no little way in something like this. It's a crusade because
it
it
is a crusade.
affects all of us one way or the other. So let us all use our platform.
So how will we use this platform? What do you have in place that we could go out now and put out there in terms of content? Office?
There is a slogan from my office, hands
Okay.
off our girls.
Okay.
Hands off our girls is a powerful, powerful statement.
Yes.
We launched Hands Off Our Girls in December 2018, and it was a blessing that I have about 5 other First Ladies that came down to Sierra Leone to support me on this.
Can you tell me about these First Ladies from what country?
Ghana came
Okay.
to support, Gambia came to support, Niger came to support, Chad came, Liberia came.
Wonderful.
They were all there.
Okay.
And then
Wow.
we had over 4,000 people that turned up. And this is the first time we had all paramount chiefs in the country attending a function with their wives. That was the first time in the history of the country. And then we actually did a protest march the following day. And the protest march, we said we want 3,000 people. We had T-shirts for 3,000 people. We had over 10,000 people turn up. The whole country. As I'm speaking to you today, the paramount chiefs, the old women, the young, the boys. In fact, you know what? The people have started branding young girls in Sierra Leone as Fatima's kids.
Oh my God.
They're like, oh, don't go there. They're Fatima's kids. You understand?
Yes.
So it means that they've started
Yes.
listening.
Yes.
We just need to pursue it harder. We just
Absolutely.
need to go down to the villages, which
Yes.
when I leave here and go back, that is the next thing I'm doing. I'm taking the message now from the city to the remote villages and educate them and make them be part of it.
Yes.
Because sometimes people will also only support you when they are part of the process.
You have to make them a part
So
of
I'm
it.
going to go there and make them part
Yes.
of the process
Yes.
and engage them.
Yes.
But while we're doing that, we're still looking for the bigger voices.
Absolutely.
Because we want the international community to make this a priority, to actually differentiate gender equality, to look at early marriage as one nemesis that is going to destroy Africa if we don't tackle it now.
Certainly will.
So
these children are the future.
that
of the
is why
continent.
I'm going there to present a case, and I'm here in Los Angeles with the hope that we will have more people, because when you have celebrities, huge celebrities here, to come out and say, you know, we are with these girls,
We are with
it
them.
will make a whole lot of difference.
We are with them.
So really, we need to prioritize this. We need to make this an agenda.
Let's talk about how well-meaning Americans can help and the rest of the world can join on board. I know you've talked about this being a movement. You want this to be a crusade. Do you have infrastructure in place for people that want to assist on this crusade, how they can jump in? Because yes, we can talk, but are there any structures in place for them to call out and reach out to be a part of this?
Well, I have my office, the Office of the First Lady of Sierra Leone. We are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, we are on, every social media, you know. But then I want to say we have a lot of Sierra Leoneans that are huge stars in Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know, even they are not born in Sierra Leone, but their lineage is from Sierra Leone.
Yes.
And I'm hoping that they will have the opportunity to see this interview and then they will contact us.
Absolutely.
Because we don't have access to contacting them. But my office will be open and hoping that they will, you know, just for the fact that their blood lineage is from Sierra Leone, and then they can bring their friends.
Yes.
We are open to them. We want them to come. They have a voice right now. They are here. They are the celebrities. Celebrities does wonders. Celebrities can change a lot of situations.
Absolutely.
So I'm hoping that they will come forward and they will do something.
Yes.
Because, you know, they don't even have to wait for me. This is our problem. And when it is our problem, it's everybody's problem. And if you're from Sierra Leone or you're an African person, this should be our problem. You want to work with me on this? You know, it will be a privilege to have all of them come together with myself and then we champion this.
Yes.
You know, use your platform.
Absolutely.
Just your platform, just talking about it. Hands off our girls, just talking about it. You know what?
And call it out when you see it.
Yes.
Right?
That's the whole point. Talk about it, use your platform. They have a bigger, richer platform that can reach all over the world. Let them use their platform for us because they will be helping us.
Yes.
You can give us all the money in the world to fix Africa, but our problem is right there.
It's right
if
there.
If you don't help us,
it's right there.
Money cannot solve that problem.
Yes.
Money cannot solve it. Educating them and making sure United Nations focus their agenda, not just to say gender equality, but talk about early marriage.
Early marriage.
Yes,
we want
call
that
it out.
focus. Early
marriage. We need to stop early marriage in Africa. You know, if they do that, believe you me, every other head of state in Africa will make it priority.
Absolutely. So tell me, First Lady, that what your plan is to get all African First Ladies to come on board.
Yes.
I first of all need to congratulate you for this initiative. You are a champion, you're a leader, but like you said, you can't do it alone.
Oh.
We need teamwork, we need connections, we need to be one voice. What is your plan to galvanize all other First Ladies to come on board to do this? You already have 5 who you already had a meeting with. What about the rest of the other 40-something countries, I guess?
I don't get to see them every day, but we meet in different meetings.
Okay.
And when we meet to those meetings, I've made it very clear that, you know, I know everybody have your own agenda.
Yes.
I know the African Union, the ECOWAS, they all have a fixed part that they want the First Ladies to follow.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I want to do what my people are asking me to do, because this early marriage and rape is one of the serious problems for women in Sierra Leone. So I'm hoping that they can actually dig deep into their soul and look around their environment and look around their countries and say, you know what? Yes, I want to do this one. I would love to do the HIV. Yes. I would love to do the cancer. I would love to do B and C. But I want to do this for my people. Okay. Because it doesn't matter how I solve all of this. Yes. If this early marriage is not stopped, these other problems are not going to go away.
And you know, this early marriage leads to all those things.
All of those things.
You know, let's switch gears a little bit. You're in LA. I'm hoping that everyone is listening and they're going to jump on board and support this amazing woman, to support this movement and save our children. But I want to ask you about your stay here now. Are you having a good time?
Oh, yes. From the award today, the Diaspora Award was fantastic.
Yes.
I met beautiful people, African Americans, lovely, lovely people My goodness, I had a ball there this afternoon, and it's a shame that I'm only here for 48 hours and I'm running off again, because when you're chasing a cause, you have to be on the road all the time. Yes. But I would love to come back to Los Angeles, and next time I would love to actually, you know, meet more celebrities, you know.
You'll meet them.
The Honorary Consul organized a dinner for me on Friday when we got here, and I met a lot of celebrities there, and I'm hoping that the next time she's going to do a bigger, grander one.
I'm sure she will. She's a woman of great connections.
We'll meet a lot of women, and I'm hoping like people like Oprah Winfrey will come forward.
You know what, Oprah, if you're listening, we need you on board. Remember the school you opened in South Africa? We need you to help our First Lady make a difference for all of Africa. Now I want you to tell Americans about Sierra Leone. It's not all gory. We're just talking about this issue because, you know, it's one of those things. Every house has its own little dirt, but Sierra Leone is more than that. So tell Americans about the beauty of Sierra Leone and where it's going, and invite them to come and check it out.
I'm telling you, Sierra Leone is the most beautiful country in the world. It's unfortunate that when the people talk about Sierra Leone, the first thing that comes to mind is a war that has ended 20 years ago.
I know, we're still talking about it.
But they're still talking about this war as if we're
see branding, see what bad branding
That's
can
the
do.
whole point, as if we're still in war. Come to Sierra Leone. We have the most precious beaches in the world. What you find in Sierra Leone, you cannot find anywhere. We have virgin lands. We have the biggest rainforest in Africa right now. We have species that you will not find anywhere. If you're an animal lover, come to Sierra Leone and see what the treasures that we have. You would, anything that you're looking for, we do have in Sierra Leone. And the most important thing, peace. We have peace. And we have a governance now. We have a governance that look after people. We have a president that believes in human capital. We have a president that believes that for us to go forward, we have to eradicate this thing called corruption. Corruption must go, and it must go. There is nothing. If you have come to Sierra Leone the last 5-10 years and you've got bad experience, believe you me, there is a new man called Julius Maada Bio there.
There's a new sheriff in town.
That sheriff is not one that jokes with any of those nonsense, because he believes how you portray your country, that's how people will take out and sell your country. That's the reason why the only thing people talk about when you talk about Sierra Leone, oh, the war. You know, understand? I'm telling you, we are open for business.
Yes.
Come to Sierra Leone and see the transformation that His Excellency has done in the last 11 months. 11 months. He has done wonders for us in that country. And we're so proud to say that, you know, as Sierra Leoneans, we can stand anywhere or be anywhere and say we're proud Sierra Leoneans. There is no Ebola. Don't worry about it. They talk about mudslides. Gone. It's not there anymore.
Everything.
Everything. Because, you know, when you leave your country to go fested and there's so much filth everywhere, but the president has declared national cleaning. It's by force. The first Saturday of the month, everybody comes out and clean. So the whole city, the one you know, 2017, is not the one you're going to be going to.
Please tell your husband how proud you are of him.
He knows I'm proud of him.
Like, tell him to the world and what you...
Well, I'm just saying, if Africa can have 10 Julius Maada Bio, our problems are gone.
You heard that? And you're not just saying, she's not just saying that.
I'm not just saying this because he's my husband. I'm saying it because as an African, you should have a vision.
Yes.
You understand?
You think that's what's lacking in most African countries?
If you
lack
don't,
of leadership, lack of
if you don't
vision.
have a vision,
yes,
you can't lead.
No, you can't.
A leader should have a vision. And that is what Julius Maada Bio have, a vision. And that vision lives through us.
So proud of you. And I'm so proud of what your husband is doing. And I'm so happy that you're here and you shared this issue with us. I don't want us to stray from the main issue where we're here.
No.
But we can't just leave on this note, you know, but we must go back. We need support. Everyone that's listening and watching, the First Lady right here, this is a woman of substance. I heard her speak and I couldn't resist but bring this voice. We need more voices. We need Hollywood. We need Whoopi Goldbergs. We need Ellen DeGeneres. We need Tyler Perry's. And we also need Michelle Obama's. We need Barack Obama.
Oh.
We need everybody.
My God, you're just naming all of them.
Listen, we're calling them to action.
You. No, they need to, because
they
you know what? Can you imagine all these names just come out and say, hands off our girls?
If you will just join our First Lady and just put something out and say, hands off our girls, like what happened with the Chibok girls. Please do the same for Sierra Leone girls and for girls all over Africa. Hands off our girls. That's the Me Too for Africa, championed by our First Lady of Sierra Leone, Mrs. Fatima Bio. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And hopefully, when we sit down at this time next year, hopefully, you give us better updates.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.